Otbspreads prediction show coming to you live on Memorial Day Monday, where it is Money Monday. We're going to run it up. New week, new money, and we're going to beat the books, man. So let's get into it, guys. Super hyped for today. Happy Memorial Day for those that served. Anybody that's working, even in the government, man, I appreciate all y'all making this country what it is. End of the day, it's nothing better than American baseball. Two of the better baseball days, in my opinion. Memorial Day. Well, three. Let's go with three. Opening Day, Memorial Day, and July 4th. Always great action. I've said it over and over again. We didn't really see the Goldilocks balls in action this weekend yet. I think it's today. And honestly, sometimes MLB waits for good weather, and we haven't had that in most of the ballparks, as most of the ballparks are here in the Midwest and East Coast. A lot of bad weather, a lot of rain this weekend. So up in New York, New Jersey, D.C. area, Carolinas, Midwest, Cincinnati area. So we'll see what happens. Let's get into this slate real quick. But before we do, guys, I just want to ask you, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. That's all I ask, bringing you guys this free picks, free knowledge every single day. We went 10-4 on Saturday. 14-game slate, only had 4 losses. Obviously, one of them being my favorite plays on the Pirates. But they turned around and they beat up on the Blue Jays yesterday. So, guys, Carmen Majinski's on the bump today. We will get into that one. I'm going to try and get this thing posted as quick as possible, get this recorded. So I'm going to fly through these picks here just to try and get this out for you guys earlier. All right, so that's really where I'm at with it. Let's see why this just did that. Okay, all the plays went away for a minute. But yeah, let's get into it, guys. I don't want to take too long here. Just a quick review what we did yesterday. Really solid day out of MLB. But obviously the NBA was the bright spot yesterday. NBA was the spot where we made our money. So yesterday was a little bit underwhelming from the locks perspective. We could have done better on MLB lock as well as the soccer lock. It wasn't there. But NBA cashed us. It was really, really nice there to have some plus money plays and cash big. We knew that the Spurs were going to whoop up on them, and they did just that. But let's get into it. Let's have what I'm going to call a bounce back day here. As like I said, our MLB was just a touch underwhelming. We still cashed some stuff, but not to the level that we expect. Let's get into it now and see where we shake out and keep it moving. All right, guys, what we got here is blowout alert. You already know, descriptions tab. That's where you got to go. Just go to the descriptions tab and you can click on the Winible link, get my premium sequence plays, be on the exact plays that I'm playing today, or you can go to blowout alert, get this information, and you get some of the best stuff. You can change the books. DraftKings typically has some of the sharper and better books, better lines. So I suggest setting it to DraftKings, guys. And then going on here, looking at the value plays today for the hits. That's where you're going to find a lot of the value. You're not going to find value over on home runs and whatnot. But what you can find is batting signals, right? Go over here, take a look at the home run list. See who are some of the favorites today. Inside the top 15, we got guys like Juan Soto, Buxton, Pete Alonso, C.J. Abrams. I love Nathaniel Lowe today as well. Sal Stewart. You got some really good bats in that top 15. Now let's go on over here. This is the newest edition here, and I love it, man. I really do. It's giving you some advice on where to go with the stacks on the slate, right? And just kind of how it works. As you would see here, it says Seattle and Oakland, average run environment, target batters with clear individual advantages, stack home offense. So it's telling you to stack the home team here with the A's, the offense for the A's. It's going to give you probabilities, all that good stuff here, man. So I highly suggest you look at the slate stacks as well. It's got some really good information in there. Slate summary now. I really love this slate summary. So my favorite thing about the slate summary is the edge. Now it's going to tell you high run environment. Seattle and Oakland, it believes, is going to be a higher run scoring game. You could target home runs. You could target hits. You could target RBIs, things of that nature. Hits, RBIs, runs. Low run environment, target the top of the order. So you want to take hits and stuff like that on batters 1 through 5. You don't really want to go outside of those batters when you're playing these games here. It's already telling you the best stacking game, toughest pitching matchup. The Phillies and San Diego Padres. I don't fully agree that it's that tough of a pitching matchup. I think Luzardo can get after these Padres who haven't really hit lefties all that well this year. I think Luzardo can control the bump today, bounce back start after his last one was a little shaky. All right, breakdown. It will tell you exactly what we think. I think that the Tampa Bay Rays are winning this one. It moved from 47% and 53% to almost a coin flip game, but it tells you a couple things here. Shane McClanahan versus Kyle Bradish. I think Shane McClanahan's the better pitcher in this matchup. Also, it's telling you target the top of the order, guys like Yandy Diaz, Junior Caminero, Pete Alonso, Gunnar Henderson, guys like that. So this is where you're going to get some of those edges here, and you can just go through the slates and look at the games, where stuff is. I like Pittsburgh here on this one. So just to kind of talk about these games. We're going to go through the games here in this manner, guys. We're going to keep the slate stack up and just talk about it really quick, all right? So that's how it's going to get down. Let's get into the show and let's talk about it. First game up, Tampa Bay taking on the Baltimore Orioles in Camden Yard. Look, I like the Tampa Bay Rays here. I like McClanahan. I think he's got really good stuff. I love what I've seen out of him. Let's make sure we switch this to the current day. I like McClanahan and what I've seen out of him. Lower ERA, higher strikeout stuff. Has held teams to 1 run inside his first 5 innings many, many times over the course of this season. I really like him. You also have this extra innings projection, 35 out of 40. So it kind of favors that this is going to be a close game here. So you could look at taking that plus 1.5 with the O's. But I'm on the Tampa Bay here at minus 115. Tampa Bay Rays. Give me the Rays here. They're 51% favored in our slate stack. And that's kind of where I'm at. I agree with it. And if we come down here and look at these pitchers' ERAs, we've got McClanahan with a 2.8, and you got Bradish with a 4.1. McClanahan's got good strikeout stuff. Bradish does as well. But I trust the bats in this Tampa Bay's Ray order that doesn't strike out a ton. So give me the Rays here on the money line at minus 114. We'll keep it moving into the next one, all right? So let's go on down here, switch on over. Next one up, Chicago and Pittsburgh Pirates. Look, man, we got Carmen Mlodzinski on the mound. I love Carmen Mlodzinski. Let me go ahead and switch the game here. Boom. Pirates. All right, I love Carmen Mlodzinski here, man. He's been throwing really good stuff. Sub 4 ERA versus Ben Brown, who was a backup, who's been thrown into the starting role with some injuries to the starting pitcher rotation here. Cubs bats have went cold. I know they're at home. Sorry, the Pittsburgh's at home. I think the Pittsburgh at home has the advantage. I think that their bats are a little bit more alive. I think they can get to Ben Brown. Ben Brown is a decent pitcher, but he is a righty, and we all know that this Pittsburgh team hits righties a lot better than they do lefties. So give me the Pittsburgh Pirates here, especially with that value on the money line at plus money at plus 106. All right, that's where we're at on this one. Going to go into this next game here. That's going to be the Minnesota Twins versus the White Sox. K's looked pretty good, man, in his starts. I'm not even going to front on this one. Anthony K, 3-1 on his starts. They don't have the pitcher up over here, but I believe it's I think it's Zebby Matthews today. So Zebby Matthews has looked pretty darn good. I lean towards the Chicago White Sox on this one over the Twins. I think that if this gets to be a close game late, the bullpen for the White Sox has actually looked really good. They've got some really nice bats in this lineup, as we can see. They got Murakami, Miguel Vargas, Colson Montgomery, Meredith. All those guys can go yard, even Benintendi. These are all big hitters in the top 5 hitting order. So I would target the top of that lineup. I think that the White Sox get it done today. Give me the White Sox on the money line here at minus 112. All right. Into this next game off of the slate stack. We've got St. Louis and Milwaukee. We all know who's on the bump for the Brewers today. It's Izorski. Jacob Izorski has been absolutely killing it. Lay the 1.5 here with the Brewers. I think that they can handle the Cardinals here. Cardinals have looked good this year. That plus 1.5 is tempting because they've kept a lot of games close. The Brewers do like to play small ball. Lower scoring games, they tend to grind out and win. So I think that the Brewers here can get it done, though. Jacob Mrozowski has been throwing some really good shit, man. I'm not sure if you guys saw the little podcast he did with Mookie Betts where he said he can touch 105. Guy can throw absolute heat, high stinky cheese. Give me this guy here today, Jacob, and the team with the Brewers playing small ball, driving in some runs consistently over the first 5 innings. I like them on the first 5, and I like them on the minus 1.5 run line. So give me the Brewers here today, and we'll keep it moving into the next one. And they have a 66 win probability here on our slate stack. It also says low total. They believe it could go under here in this one, under 7.5. I don't hate the play. I don't think that St. Louis is going to generate runs, and I don't think that the Brewers are that type of team where they put up numbers in bunches. I think this game could be like a 2-4 game or a 5-1 or maybe even a shutout like a 4-0 to the Brewers. So give me the Brewers here. I'll lay the run line minus 1.5, and we'll move on to the next one for Memorial Day. All right, this is going to bring us to the 3 o'clock game, 3:40 game with Royals and the Yankees. We got Will Warren on the mound taking on Michael Wacha. Wacha's actually been pretty good. Will Warren's ERA isn't bad for what I've seen out of him. He's given up some runs, some hits. He hasn't looked all that great, but he's still got a 6-1 record. Will Warren keeps finding ways to win even when he's given up hits in ball games. I like the Yankees here today at minus 131. I think they get it done. Their bats wake up. The pitching is there. Give me the Yankees here, minus 131. They're 54% win probability here on our slate stack. Some things that it says about it. You got the two right-handed pitchers here in Will Warren and Michael Wacha. Moderate total. It's selective stacking in this one, so I would just take a look at, maybe some core players, Salvador Perez, Trent Gresham, kind of maybe take a look at those guys for a hit or two. And yeah, let's keep it moving here. I don't think this is a big home run game today, but you can always give Ben Rice and Aaron Judge a look for home runs today as well. They are on our list for blowout alert, giving us a targeted hitter inside the top 30, both of those guys. All right, next game up, we now have the Reds taking on the Mets, and there's a player prop I really like out of this one, guys. I do think there's some home run ability in this game here. Nolan McLean hasn't been as sharp as he's known for. He does have a 3.57 ERA, but he's 2-3 in his starts. He does have good strikeout stuff, but you got Lodolo over here who does not have good strikeout stuff. 7.2 ERA against a decent hitting Mets team. Let's not forget this Mets team can still hit the ball. A couple guys I like out of this, and I agree with it. Sal Stewart, Juan Soto, and Nathaniel Lowe. I like all of those guys potentially for home runs, definitely for hits, or you could take for runs, hits, RBIs over the 1.5. I like all those guys in this matchup today for that. I lean in this side here. It's a harder call, man, because the bats with these Reds have been pretty solid as of late. Nolan McLean's been gettable. I'm going to go with the Reds here with the value today on the money line at plus 129. I think they can get it done. At first, there was talk that the starting pitcher was going to be Chase Burns. Obviously, that would be a completely different ball game. I think the Reds would be favored if Burns was on the bump. But no, it's not. It's Lodolo. Lodolo does give up some runs. And I do like the player prop on the under for Lodolo. If you wanted to play that on Bet365, which I did lock in by itself as a single at minus 140, Lodolo to record under 17.5 outs, where Lodolo is only averaging around 14 on the season. So he would have to really go in a deep into this game, 6 innings, quality start to hit that number. So give me Lodolo on the under on that one, guys, and we'll keep it moving into this next matchup. We'll take the Reds on the money line there at plus money 129. All right, San Francisco Giants taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. This one, they got Ladner Roop on the mound, taking on, I believe it's, is it Gallen? No, it's not Gallen. It's Kelly, right? Say, Eduardo Rodriguez, but I'm almost positive if I go to FanDuel, it's not him. It's, I want to say it's Kelly. I want to say it's Merrill Kelly, who's actually looked better as of late, coming off of some of his starts. Yeah, it's Merrill Kelly here getting the start today. Merrill Kelly hasn't been terrible, 5.71 ERA. He's looked better in his last 2 starts. Slowed down with the strikeout stuff, only 3 and 4 strikeouts on his last two games. But in this spot, man, I think that Roop and the bats of what's really held back the Giants this year. If the bats can get going just a little bit, they can compete in this game, especially with Roop. Give me the Giants here on the money line, minus 132 at home on Memorial Day. I think Adames has a good game, but watch out for Ketel Marte. I think Ketel Marte is a good target for over 1.5 runs, RBIs, and hits. So that's another one. Casey Schmidt is a home run potential player, as well as Willie Adames. I like both of those guys for home runs or hits today, whichever way you want to go with Schmidt and Adames. So that's where I'm at. Give me the San Francisco Giants at 54% win probability. I agree with that at minus 132. I'll pay the juice to play the Giants. All right, that's where I'm at. Moving into the next one, Washington and Cleveland. Cleveland, I believe, has Tanner Bibby on the mound today, who I thought would turn a corner. He's 0-6 in his starts. And then you got Zach Lytle, 5.83 ERA, 3 and 4 in his starts. This Washington Nationals team has hit the ball really well. Washington is a heavy underdog versus this team. I can't fade the Nationals here. I just can't do it, guys. I'm going to go with the Nationals here on the money line. And I also recommend taking that plus 1.5. I got to go with the team that's been more profitable this year. If you've bet them consistently, you're winning money at 27 and 27. Even taking some losses, they're typically plus money by a lot. And I want to stay on that side against one of the more unprofitable pitchers this year in Bibee. So give me the Washington Nationals. It's not a favorite play on the board by any means, but I think the Washington Nationals can sneak out a win in this one and get it done. And if you're uncertain on that money line, just go with the plus 1.5 on the run line, as it did cash us the other day in the Brave series. All right, that's where we're at. We're going to keep it moving into this next game. Phillies taking on the San Diego Padres. Let's talk about this one, guys. We've got Jesus Luzardo, left-handed pitcher, taking on Randy Vasquez. Vasquez hasn't been all that bad this year. He's given what's needed, sub-3 ERA, 5-2 in his starts. He's getting his team to the bullpen, just like Herman Marquez. But look, yesterday they got beat up on, man. The Padres did not come out to play. They got beat up on. I think yesterday would have been the game for them to win. Luzardo's a left-handed pitcher, and we know that there's some struggles with this Padres team hitting lefties. So in this case here, I like the -126. Taking on a right-handed pitcher, and we know that the right-handed pitchers do get hit by this Phillies team. You know, you got Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber. You got some really good bats, Bohm, Stout. All those guys in this lineup can really hit the ball well. Let's take a look at some of these hitting averages, man, for the Phillies over here. You got Trey Turner, 230, 220 in Schwarber, 277 in Harper. You got most of their order hitting over 200 right now, man. So I just can't fade that a team that's hitting the ball really well against righties with a decent left-handed pitcher able to get it done. He had a bad start in his last outing, but I believe that Luzardo bounces back. He can get to this batting order in the Padres. Give me the Phillies here on the money line at -126. All right. Moving into this next game, Houston, Texas, Kumar Rocker on the mound versus Imai, I believe, for the Astros. And let's just double check that. Kumar Rocker for sure. It's saying Ryan Weiss, but no, it's Imai. I know it for a fact because I did look at this game and I did bet it. So give me the Texas Rangers here. I like Kumar Rocker. He's been playing some good ball here as of late. -122 on the money line. Feels like a good play here. Feels like you can take Rocker with his 3.6 ERA. I know he's 2-4, but the bats haven't always backed him up. This is a weird series because both of these teams have talented bats, but they don't show up consistently. But it's going to come down to pitching for me in this one. If I had to take a pitcher, Rocker versus Imai, I'm going with Rocker, and that the bats get going maybe in the later innings, 4, 5, 6, 7th inning. The Texas Rangers find some runs and they generate and they get a win here on the money line at -126. Now, a stat for you guys here is the Rangers are one of the top teams in the MLB this season driving in runs late. So that's after the 7th inning. Them and the Diamondbacks tend to do that at a high clip. Give me the Rangers here to find a run late in the game if this thing is close to win it. Rangers -126 on the money line. All right, next game up. Let's go ahead and move on into that one. It's going to be Toronto and Miami. You got Jason Junk or whatever his name is on the bump today, taking on Trevor Yesavage, I believe is what his name is. Let's take a look. Trey Yesavage and Jansen Junk. Both these guys going. Junk's not been terrible, but a 2-5 record, 5 ERA. Savage has been great, man. I mean, he looked good last year. He's came back out in his starts, played well. It's hard to not be on the Blue Jays, in my opinion, in this spot. I know that this Miami team has been hitting the ball really well. That -162 with the Toronto Blue Jays is not enticing by any means. It just isn't. I didn't bet this game. Forced to pick a side, forced to lean a side. I'm going to have to say you go with the -1.5 on the Toronto Blue Jays. They get it done. The bats have been a lot better this last couple weeks. George Springer's hitting the ball well. Akamoto is due for a home run. Give him a look. I know they're saying fade him, but I think that this is a good spot here today and a gettable pitcher on Junk. Once again, blowout alert projecting almost a 60% win probability here. I like this matchup. I like the Blue Jays in this one as far as the potential. I think this could go either way still. I trust the pitcher in Trey Savage a little bit more than I do Junk. And I think that the bats are good enough if they can show up today to drive in runs and win and cover the run line by -1.5. The -162 really doesn't do much for me. That's why I didn't bet it. For how close I believe this game could be, I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm on the money line at -162 and the Miami Marlins potentially squeeze out a close game and win this thing. Look, we all know that the Blue Jays went to the World Series last year. They haven't played like a World Series type team this season so far. Miami Marlins have looked a lot better, one of the better hitting teams in the month of May. I'm going to go to the well here on the Toronto Blue Jays that they come back out here today and they get a win on the money line, play really good ball. Savage commands the bump, doesn't give up a lot of hits today. So give me the Blue Jays here on the money line, -162. Forced to bet it. That's the side that I lean. All right, Colorado, Los Angeles. Look, man, unless you're going to take the run line, it's not worth betting this game. The Rockies do have some decent bats here. Look, it's a heavy favorite on the Dodgers. I just can't get off of it. The Bats seem to have woken up a little bit here for this Rockies, not this Rockies team, this Dodgers team. And if that's the case, they're one of the best teams in MLB. The Bats just haven't been there as of late. They are facing a right-handed pitcher today. They hit righties really, really well. They really hit both sides of the pitcher really well, lefty and righty. The Bats just haven't been there driving in runs. We have seen them wake up the last couple games in the last series. They started scoring a couple runs against the Brewers in that last series, late in the series. First game, they got the shit kicked out of them. But after that, they bounced back, started playing some good ball. I think we see more of it today. Give me the -1.5 on the Dodgers. All right, -1.5 on the run line with the Dodgers. They get it done. Let's see Sheehan have a bounce back game. He got worked in his last start. So give us a bounce back game here with Sheehan. All right, taking us to the last game of the night. We got the A's taking on the Mariners. This is probably going to be a close game. You've got offense taking on defense, really. I think, it's saying Castillo's pitching over here. Savale's pitching over here. That is correct. Castillo's a good pitcher. He's, in my opinion, better than Savale. Savale's had some struggles. Castillo's problem is he tends to walk runners, put them in scoring position, especially in those mid-innings. And you don't want to do that to the bats of the A's because the A's can drive in runs. They've got talented hitters. With that said, though, I think that in a close game, the Mariners can edge this team out if they can get production from Castillo here. So give me the Mariners here, beating the A's today on the money line at -115. Not another play that I absolutely am in love with. I don't have any money on this one, but forced to bet it, forced to lean aside. I'd go Mariners here. Castillo having a little bit better of a game, and the bats getting to Savale early. But that's the key. That's the lean. That's the script. If they don't get to Savale early, they could be in trouble. But we did see the bullpen struggle for the A's as well the other day, and them not be able to close out a game. So I think we're going to see more of the same with that. I trust the bats with the Mariners to get after Savale early. And even then, if they don't, I still think there's some bullpen struggles for the A's. So give me the Mariners here in this spot. I like them to get the win on the money line, -126. And we'll see how the day goes. I may bet this late as it's the last game of the night. All right, guys, that's where we're at. And I will say Blowout Alert did flag this. They do have the over at 10.5, so they believe there's going to be some run scoring in there. I target the top of the order for both teams. Nick Kurtz, Julio Rodriguez, Dominic Canzone. There's a lot of guys you might want to go after. J.P. Crawford, Josh Naylor, Langeliers. There's some guys you could take for home runs. There's some guys you could take for hits, RBIs, things of that nature, total bases. Nick Kurtz is probably my favorite play for the over 1.5 runs, hits, RBIs. Or you could go with Julio Rodriguez. I think he's another bright spot in that Mariners lineup. They're going to need him today to hit the ball well to do what I'm saying, and that's get the win on the money line. All right, guys, that's it. That's the show. Please just drop a like. If there's a favorite play you have on the board, go ahead, drop it in the comments. Curious to know who you're playing and who you're riding with. We had a client the other day cash a $1,000 ticket off of our picks here on the show. Was not a subscriber, just hit me up on Instagram, sent me a slip like, man, thank you. I took X, Y, and Z off of your show, cashed this $1,000 ticket. So guys, if you ever hit those, feel free to hit me up on Instagram, send it on over. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Let's cash some slips. New week, new money. Let's close out May. We got 7 days left here, starting today on Memorial Monday. Let's have a big rest of the month where it has been a funny month. As far as everything has went this year, we have been very profitable. Having no losing months, but we're right there on the edge, man. We keep flirting around a 500 month here. Still profitable, but we need to pick it up, guys. We need to pick it up. We need to get on a run because we keep trading days. It's like, we have a big day and then we turn around and have a bad day, have a big day, have a bad day. So it's kind of been a hot and cold month where we're kind of trading wins and losses. So let's see what we can do today. It's a new week, new money. Let's see if we can get to running this week and have a big week and win big. I like the NBA slate today as well, guys. Remember, in the descriptions tab, you can go ahead and sign up on the Winible link for my premium plays. I'll see you next time. Let's get it. Book the one way.